Ladies and gentlemen, the opening ceremony!
So just a quick bit of housekeeping before. Don't forget, your programmes are in your nice little lanyards. Keep an eye on them, keep track. We'll be nagging you and shouting at you. There will be raffle tickets coming around today for the raffle items. Please give generously. If you haven't put your name down and you want to join us for Sunday evening meal, the forms are on the reg desk. £16.50. It's a children's party. That's what we're aiming for. So you can wear your sparkly dress. Dave, you're not got a sparkly dress this year. Well, you still wear the beard.
I was on a cosplay on Wednesday.
Oh, that's a novel one.
It's scary. Gary, bookends.
Yes. Me in the middle. Yes. Okay, so, opening ceremony. Narrator.
No one would have believed in the last years of the 1980s that a vast amount of science fiction and fantasy was being watched from behind sofas in so many homes. No one could have dreamed that these dramatic presentations might be scrutinized by huddles of like-minded people gathering and hanging out in hotels. Few even considered the possibility of running a convention in Plymouth. And yet, across the city of Manamede, minds immeasurably dafter than ours regarded this idea with growing enthusiasm, and slowly and surely they drew their plans.
Dun dun dun! Da-da-da! Da-da-da! Dun dun dun! Da-da-da! Da-da-da!
Any more British words? Picture the scene. It's 30 years ago and the world is a different place. Geek is not yet chic. Sci-fi fans are watching anything they can to keep the faith alive. Doctor Who is on the telly. Star Wars has been doing great business in the cinemas, and some people occasionally get together to play Dungeons and Dragons. That is what fandom in Plymouth was. A little gaggles of people meeting up in each other's houses and in corners of pubs, geeking out in private. But all that was about to change forever, because 30 years ago, a little event called Armadacon was born. Yes, the con is 30 years old! Yay! Well trained. And in that time, it's seen and done all sorts. So just what is it that makes this con Armadacon? What is it quintessential element that makes Armadacon what it is? Some people might say it's the jokes. Or the crazy things going on. Or a combination of all the different and fun things we see and do. This is our tribute to those things that make Armadacon what it is, and what it means to us. In our little homage, we will touch on the things that to us say Armadacon. Finally, firstly, let's look at the most essential of con linchpins, the radio play.
So, why are we doing this?
Because the committee had asked us to do something to mark this occasion, and this was the best we could come up with at short notice.
But we're professionals! So why are we still reading from scripts?
Because this is our tip of our hat to radio plays. Everyone at Con reads from scripts. Most of us don't even know what we're going to be in until the day, and we can't learn words that fast. Anyway, it's all part of the mythology. You can't argue with ology.
Okay, well, if you put it like that, it would seem rude to not have a script in front of us then. But you do appreciate we do actually know it. We're only pretending not to, right?
So, picture the scene. It's a dark and stormy night, and a crack team of professional actors have yet to work out how they're going to deliver what the committee wants.
Right, now, we're getting in through the underground heating system here, up through the main hall here, and Papa Smurf's there with Gary the Orc. Having grabbed the Orc, we inform the committee that he is in our custody and forthwith issue our demands. Any questions?
What exactly are our demands?
We want 45 minutes to celebrate the entire 30-year history of the con. And if they don't agree immediately, we execute Gary.
What?
The orc! Oh, I meant Gary, the orc. Obviously.
Cut his head off.
Cut all the bits off. Send them back every hour on the hour. Show them that we are not people to be trifled with.
Also, we're demanding a 10-foot mahogany statue of the Emperor Palpatine with his what's name hanging out.
I would never agree to that.
Oh, that's just a bargaining counter. And of course, we point out that they bear full responsibility when we chop him up, and that we shall not submit to blackmail.
No blackmail!
Some people have been going to this con for 30 years. And not just them. Our friends. And our friends' friends.
And our friends' friends' friends.
Yeah.
And our friends' 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 friends.
Yeah, all right, Tracy, don't labour the point. And what have they ever given to us in return?
Yes.
What?
Yes, pan.
Oh, yeah, they did give us that. Yeah, that's true.
And turkey readings.
The turkey readings. Remember what those used to be like.
Yeah, all right. I'll grant you the guest panels and the turkey readings are two things that Armadacon has done.
And the masquerades.
Well, yeah, obviously the masquerades. I mean, the masquerades go without saying, don't they? But apart from the guest panels, the turkey readings and the masquerades...
Dealers.
Quizzes.
Gaming.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
And the radio plays.
Now that's something we really miss if the con was no more, right?
And comedy videos.
And it's cool to be geek in Plymouth now, Mark.
Yeah, certainly. They know how to have fun. Let's face it, the only people who could in a place like this.
All right. But apart from the guest panels, the turkey readings, masquerades, dealers, quizzes, gaming, radio plays and comedy videos, what has Armadacon ever done for us?
Raised money for charity?
Ah, charity. Shut up.
So that's a little reminder of some of the things that we get up to. But you don't need to think you're getting away with just sitting there and doing nothing. It's time for you to join in. We put together a taster of some of the quizzes we've had in the past. So...
We need to divide you into teams. Let me see. How about this team and that team?
Righty side and righty side.
It's almost like we planned it.
Almost.
What do you mean? It's Team Dalek?
Yeah.
And Team Klingons? Okay. Many years ago, we used to think we could sing. We couldn't. But what I'd like to do now is ask for one volunteer from this team to come and stand out here.
Go on, you're the singer.
Define volunteering. Being coerced by your wife is not volunteering.
You volunteered to listen to your team sing. When I say go, I'm see that. Right? You will have to sing that.
Have they started yet?
No. They're building up. It's a dramatic pause.
Take the cheese out your ears.
Okay. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to identify this ability. Are you ready, team? 3, 2, 1, go. Point to this team.
Can we have a bucket next time? Because we need it for carrying the tune.
Fortunately for this team, I need a volunteer who doesn't want to sing. They all want to sing. Right, you're right. Okay. Good luck on this one, guys.
Oh, you can't look so-and-so. I don't know.
Oh my god, it's impossible.
No. Where's the fun in coming over, coming over, coming over? Okay. We may be doing this in while, I suspect. Anyone in that team guesses it before they do, please. That's all. Yeah, after 3, 1, 2, 3.
We don't know it.
We don't know it!
Well done, you did it in 0 notes. You can do it without singing, you not do better.
I was so hoping someone would.
After 3, 1, 2, 3.
It's cold outside, there's no kind of atmosphere.
And this team, your final go this round. What? Anybody says they don't know this, go home, you're not. Anybody doesn't know this, you're not eating.
Yeah.
Well, that's up to the team to sing. Hopefully you'll sing the same song.
Which one is it?
The first one.
I'm suggesting the best known set. So for the final, sing the same one. After 3, 1, 2, 3.
We don't.
Okay. Right, Sam, thank you very much. Thank you very much,
One thing, Sam, one thing.
Dave, book, film, or television? Television. Okay. You're playing for points here. This is a game we're calling Higher or Lower. So, first I'm going to tell you, the television series Ultraviolet. What year did it first get transmitted in? Have a think and give me your answers.
97.
They say 97. I'll take the first answer if it was in. 99? You obviously watched the show. So, T. Xena Warrior Princess. What did it come out before or after Ultraviolet? Before. Well done. Point to this team. This team. Xena Warrior Princess came out in 1995. Farscape. Did it come out before or after Xena Warrior Princess? It did. 1999. Point to this team. This team. Farscape 1999. Babylon 5. Before or after? Before. Correct, 1993. This team. Dark Angel, before or after Babylon 5? It did, 2000. This team. Dark Angel came in 2000. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, before or after? It was 1997. This team. 1997. Well, that's the It was so good when we wrote this down. Okay, this team, Buffy the Vampire Slayer 1997, The X-Files, before or after? 1993. So, Stargate Atlantis, before or after? 2004. This team, Doctor Who, the new series. The new batch. Before or after 2004? 2005. And this team, Before 2005 or after for Lex? Well done, you teams are tying on that round. One more round. Oh God. What?
Oh no, not the old gold
No.
round.
We're going to go on to one that caused hilarity early on in the history of the con. I need a volunteer from this team. That team. I would like to point out to the front row. There are people pointing to a certain person in the front row. Are you volunteering, Pat? And this team, would you like to volunteer somebody? What? Sorry. Funny enough, it's pointed to.
Pat will do fine.
You don't know what's coming. Any children in the room, she's going to sweat. Get them out.
I have a mouse and I am not afraid to use it.
Do you wish to go first or second?
Second.
Okay. We are playing.
I'd like to go second too.
Go on, Dave, you can go first.
Okay. Are we agreed? If I go first, these two together have to go second.
Yes.
Okay. It's an object.
Hold on.
You two agreed to go second.
Yeah.
Your charade
Yeah.
is that.
Book. TV. TV film. 6 words.
6 words.
6 words.
6 words.
6 words, is that
Yes.
Third word.
Third word.
Sleep.
Dream of
Yeah.
Oh, you could have made them go longer for that. Thank you very much,
I should point out that's pretty much, for those who never been to the quizzes, that's pretty much how Armadacon quizzes run. It's as organised as that, isn't it, Dave?
That was quite slick, I thought.
They actually knew the answers.
I know.
Yeah. Venues. Armadacon has taken place in a number of interesting and varied locations over the years. Sometimes we've even seen staff members at a new venue who remember us from the previous one they worked at. I wonder what it is that makes us memorable.
It's what you left in the room, Dave.
Thank you all for coming to our events managers meet and greet. Lovely to see you all again. It's been ages since I managed the Leisure Centre events. Where have you all been working?
Arts Centre.
Hotel. Hotel for me too. Who would have thought 30 years ago we'd be here comparing anecdotes and experiences of events we've hosted?
Back then life was so much simpler. We were glad to have customs from local science fiction and fantasy groups, no matter what they wore or what they got up to.
Even when it was blokes in dresses who had better legs than the girls.
Or when they pretended to fight with those cardboard Klingon sword thingies.
Or they raced space operas in lobby.
Oh, they had a Dalek riding in the lift.
Some of the committee members got stuck in our lift.
Didn't have a lift. Not a Dalek.
But you know, we were happy in those days.
That's when they got the jokes.
You know, they were a bit weird.
Yes, because they were weird. My manager used to say to me, thank God it's those crazy fans, they do less damage than rugby club.
He was right. I was happier then, and even when we had to clean the face paint off the sheets and towels after.
A little bit of cleaning. They had a scientist dip a jelly baby in liquid oxygen and use it to weld something. But it dripped and burned all in one of our tables.
You were lucky to have a hole in a table. They invited a stuntman who took a chunk out of one of our supporting pillars, waving his sword around.
Oh, we used to dream of a little structural damage. Leisure Centre got demolished years ago. Chip pillars. Oh.
You never thought too much of it. 20 years later, the chip's still there.
We went to set up our film night in the cinema room. Found they'd nicked the seats.
We had them lifting up spam on a piece of string in the bar and saluting it like a flag.
Didn't spam?
Aye.
You were lucky. We had to warn them all. We were also hosting a local naturist swimming club, so they were sharing the changing rooms with naked folk.
Luxury.
Yeah.
We showed one of their guests up to what we thought was their room, but it was one of the attendees' rooms, and they had left their bed covered in all manner of kinky gear. We thought we were offering extra services.
Well, we had it tough. One of our cleaners found a room full of guns. There were only one of the organisers telling them they were fakes, and they had a bunch called gun bunnies that stopped us calling terrorist hotline.
Right. They had some kind of slave auction, and then ended up with them cleaning a suitcase full of boots, while another one was being flogged in the public bar.
You try and tell young hotel managers today that, and they won't believe you.
No.
Pretty much everything that's said actually happened. So, Armadacon has raised a huge amount of money for charities since we started, a large amount of which comes from our auction. We've sold all manner of things over the years, some official, some unofficial, some not even real. It's an astonishing what we'll do for a good cause, but you have to draw the line somewhere.
Right. Before we begin this year's auction, I just need to take you through a few of the ground rules. Rule 1, no posters. Well, unless they're signed in actual ink by someone we've heard of, who had something to do with the thing on the poster. And even then, not if they're tatty or faded. Do you know what? That's just silly. No posters. Rule 2, a reminder to programming. Do not schedule anything popular against this event. We need all the money, all the people in here for the event, not out there watching telly. If I find out you've put Star Wars on in the video room, so help me, I'll sneak in there with the remote and stand at the back, turning it off and on every 10 seconds till you think you've got a technical fault. Rule 3, no posters. Rule 4, if you win the Star Trek wrist communicator, you are only renting it. You are required to bring it back next year so that we can auction it again. Do not open the box. In fact, don't even look at the box. Pay the money and let us look after it. That way you won't be tempted. Rule 5, no posters. Rule 6, no clubbing together into Consortium X to raise enough money for me or Pat to dress as a lady of the night and walk through the local red light district. Not even if it's obvious that either of us are gorgeous enough to double the takings at least. Rule 7. Rule 8. If you are bidding to shoot Chris with a Nerf gun, please wait until the end of the auction to open fire. Rule 9. Rule 10. If Barry is bidding on a cute cuddly toy with the aim of blowing it up, and a small person places a counter bid, Consortium X are contractually required to provide backup for the said small person. Rule 11.
Absolutely no posters.
Rule 12. You are not auctioning my glass of water. I know you all think it's very funny and it raises a lot of money, but it's my... Pardon?
Pound.
Alright, 150. What have I bid for my glass? £2. Any advances? £2. I haven't even dropped from it yet. £2. 250. 250. Clean glass, £3. £3. I'll sign the water. Anything you like. £3.
Saucy boy.
£3. Free poster as well. All right, £3. £3. Too big, £3. Water is yours. Thank you very much. Right then,
It's still warm.
that concludes this year's auction. It's raised £3. As ever, your generosity never ceases to amaze. I now hand you back to your genial host.
I shall point out when that actually happened, it cost Dave cost you a tenner, didn't it, to get your
15
glass of water?
quid.
15 quid to get his glass of water.
True.
Bargain. No, it wasn't.
He brought it back the next year.
He bought it.
Can I bring this back and put it in next year?
No.
If you can hold that water in for a year, that'd be interesting.
Can you personally certificate
The masquerade has been a jewel in the crown for Armadacon from its very beginning. Seen many sights we can't forget, and the creativity and inventiveness of the contestants, some of whom worked for weeks putting the costume and scripts together. But perhaps we should spare some thoughts for those whose the most hardworking people who have the toughest task of all in the masquerade. I'm talking, of course, about the judges. When the contestants have all taken their turn, it's down to the judges to make sense of it all. Have you ever wondered just what they talk about in their little room while making up their minds?
Okay, they want us to work through the entries and come up with the winners. So, any thoughts?
I thought I was hallucinating.
Know what you mean? I've no idea what half of that was all about.
Me neither, that's a relief.
Okay, but we have to come up with something. Let's just work through each one, shall we?
Alright, it's not going to be easy.
So, first entry. Well, there's certainly a lot of flesh on show.
A lot. Practically in their underwear.
Practically in it. They're all practically out of it.
But I know people will try and influence a panel of judges, and I'm no prude. But these days, you can't go around like that. It's very non-PC.
So, are we all agreed?
Yes, the contestant in the string vest and boxer shorts just didn't work for us.
Right. Now, contestant 2. I thought they were a bit shy.
What makes you say that?
Maybe it was the fact that they never came out from under the bedspread.
But it was a well-made bedspread.
Yes, well that goes without saying.
Yeah, fine, I won't dispute that. Now, what about contestant 3? Not sure what to make of that. What do you think?
Well, it was very well made, but they obviously went to a lot of trouble, but I haven't got a clue what it was meant to be. I've never even seen the show.
Thank God, me neither. Was it good or bad? I haven't a clue.
So, we have no idea on style. They either got it right or wrong, but maybe presentation?
Well, I thought number 4 was a bit too similar.
It was sort of like something we've seen before.
Well, admittedly, they did use the same bedspread again.
Well, contestant 5 had brilliant timing. I mean, how she got her props to explode on cue, I will never know. Nappies flying everywhere.
Well, the contestant who bought the cake, there's someone who really knows how to make an impact.
Yeah,
Yep,
works for us.
Okay, we have a winner. Now, pass me another slice of cake.
These references, if you don't get, come and ask us later. The stories are brilliant, aren't they, Fiona? So, we've
I
had
know nothing. I all bedspread. I mean knowledge.
We've had an amazing cross-section of guests over the years. From in front of and behind the cameras, writers, makers, scientists, exoscientists, and any you like, says here. So, but what makes an amazing guest? It's time for you to join in again to help Dave select the ultimate guest of Ultimate Destiny!
Yay! We have randomly selected some guests and stuck them in a balloon. we have a certain amount of time before the balloon will crash. So we need you to decide who gets pushed off and who lives as the ultimate guest of the ultimate con's destiny. So can I have some volunteers hold these pictures, hold these things off? So you know what you just volunteered? Right. Our first one is Michael Shear. When Michael came to the con, he was brilliant. He'd actually, we used to set the chairs and tables out. He'd help us do it. Or we'd go in the bar and make sure people were getting drunk properly on time. Sadly, it was 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night. There you go. Our next guest was Adam Hart Davies. He said, Adam, would you like to come to the con? He said, I don't know anything about sci-fi. You'll fit right in with the rest of us. Well, Lucy, you volunteered. Did Lucy volunteer?
Yes.
Sat in the front row, sorry.
You stand at the front, you don't say anything. You run into
Take
the
your
con.
seat in the back, collect for a bag. You still sat in the front row.
Okay. Mitch Ben. Mitch Ben arrived on the Sunday of the con and found a whole lot of people with cameras out there staring at the
No, you don't.
His opening line walking the door was, there better be a Dalek in there, and the lift's open, and there was a Dalek in there. Okay, on next one then, Lucy. Somebody's going to help me out this because I missed that pattern. All I can remember was everybody told me with Frances Harding was, you've got to talk to her about cheese.
And you spelled it wrong.
And nobody's ever explained to me why, so the next time I see her, I'll ask her, actually I did, I saw her 2 years later and said, I'm going to ask her about the cheese. And she said, what? Our next person, Ali. Oh, you're timing, okay. Roy Lowry. What can I say about this guest? He almost burnt this hotel down with his oxyacetylene powered jelly baby and other weird thing. He put the science into science fiction. Anne McCaffrey. Anne McCaffrey decided at Armadacon 2 she was hungry, so she went off to get a meal. She took half the con with her, but didn't tell the committee. Before, where the bloody hell's everybody gone? McCaffrey. Now, I would say something about this person, but I think he ought to say it himself.
Never heard of him.
I'll say something. Pat Harkin raised as much money as was in there because he signed the £5 note and he's come back year after year. Yeah.
It's only because he didn't want to lose it.
So, you may think we've biased it a little bit by having Pat here, but don't worry, we bookended it because at the other end of the line, would somebody like to defend? So, I could throw it to the room for debate. Does anybody think anybody particularly deserves to stay in the balloon or needs to get kicked out? But we are against the clock.
Okay. All the ones between the
Frances Harding, because when she goes to conventions, she always does clutches and she brings biscuits for people who are like her. So she says,
a guest who brings biscuits. This is a good point. Anybody? No. Go on. No.
He goes too. Right. All the ones in the middle, let those two fight it out in front.
I shall ask the great timekeeper in the front row seat how we do the time.
we're okay. But I was just going to say, Anne McCaffrey can just call one of her dragons to get a lift, so it's not like
Good point. Anybody else got any points to make?
Points? Football. David and Pat came as guests and now are pretty much permanent fixtures. Yeah.
So was Michael Shear.
Did a lot.
Yeah,
Sadly
he
dead,
did, but he
we tried to stop it. We tried to stop it. He said, no, come here. Anybody else?
She nearly made my member of the committee.
Adam Hart Davies could probably improvise a parachute on the way down, so he'd be fine.
Yeah, Roy Larry probably could come up with something floaty.
Boy, Larry would probably set light to the balloon. 2 things about Tommy lighting the load.
Yes.
So, could I suggest, on account of to keep more people alive, we won't set light to the balloon?
No,
Shall we agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Michael Michael Sheard's dead, so he doesn't care.
Yeah, but Michael Sheard did know, or you asked him a question, he knew everything that he'd been in. He remembered that and was very entertaining because of it.
But he's still dead.
Yeah, well, he's still dead.
And we always said if you went to Ireland and you phoned from the airport, you could go to our house. And
Very useful for Welcome next year. So, to the room. Who's the next one that goes out of the balloon?
The dead ones.
They were great guests, but sadly no longer with. They were great guests. Right. It's getting over mud at the end. Anybody else?
I think Frances Harding talked a lot about having conferences with her friends in their dinosaur onesies. So I think she could just call on her friends and have a bunch of dinosaurs that could be there to catch her. If she's
Pterodactyls.
Yeah, pterodactyls.
So she's safe.
Unless they're T-Rex kicking her out.
She's got a chance. She can come out and the dinosaurs will save her.
Yeah.
Go off there,
That travel arrangements.
Our friends Harding is alive. Okay.
Mitch Ben!
Was it Adam White Davis said could devise a means of escape?
yes.
So we're going to test that by chucking him out the balloon.
David plays the Doctor so many times he's got his own TARDIS, he has his own way off already.
He just regenerates on the way down.
Well, surely after he hits.
Yeah.
After the impact, it's the fun bit.
Mitch Ben came and sang songs after we all ate our food.
Yeah.
Really good. Actually, a funny one. Remember he sang the BBC song?
Yes.
He then went to the Disco.com 6 months later and he forgot the words. And somebody said, I've got the words, it's brilliant, on my t-shirt. It's the first time I've ever seen anybody playing guitar reading someone's chest. True story. But
Get rid of him.
Get rid of him. Get rid of
If he
him.
can't remember his own song lyrics, he doesn't deserve to be.
All those in favour of going over? All those in favour of keeping him in? Over he goes, Mitch Ben goes over. So, by a totally random
Because if you take out his initial, it spells parking.
Gentlemen, would you like to sum up your defence of why you should stay in the balloon?
Well, I'm afraid of heights, so I never get in the balloon.
So you never travelled? Now, you see, actually, you're in luck there, because I have done psychology and I know about dealing with phobias. There's a technique for dealing with phobias called immersion. You'll never be scared of heights again. In a counter argument, I would just like to point. What's that down there?
So, by a strange twist of fate, the final two guests pushing each other out of the balloon. We declare that.
There's some more gas here.
Oh, I'm full of gas, mate.
I'm behind you.
The balloon's going up again now.
The balloon.
Yeah.
No! Hang on. As the balloon's going up, you're saying the balloon is the best guest in town.
Yeah.
By a process of sheer stupidity. The greatest guest we've ever had in the history of 30 years of the con is a hot air balloon.
That was worked out.
So, the turkey readings are another popular way to raise money for the charities. Willing volunteers read out excerpts from classic novels.
Might be to stop.
Not until I get to the bit where it says turkey reading rules follow. And the listeners bid to make them stop or get them to continue. This time, however, we have some reminiscences of Armadacon that you can choose to stop or continue, but you better have your small change ready. We're actually going to do money for this one. So as per the usual turkey reading rules, anecdote number 1. When Terry Pratchett came to the con... sorry,
You can't stop him when he gets going.
Yeah, so
we have professionals.
Yeah, but there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
4 anecdotes, I thought.
No, 3.
I can't get out of it. Doesn't say not me.
She already paid 5p for you to stop.
Well, I stopped there.
What? Money well spent.
Be for me to stop. When Terry Pratchett came to the con, it was like nothing we were expecting. But when it came time for Terry to leave, that's when it got really silly.
50p to stop, I know what's next.
And to continue.
Dave drove Terry to the station and offered to wait with him for the train to arrive. But Terry said, "No, it's quite all right. You go back to the con. I'll sort it out from here." Dave bid him farewell, but when he was driving back up the hill towards the con, he saw the entire committee standing, jumping up and down, waving their arms and shouting and pointing. He wound down the window to ask what on earth was happening, and they told him that Terry had forgotten his laptop. They threw it in the window and he turned the car around, racing back to the station, parking the car. He rushed to the station to see the train already pulling out, with Terry hanging out of the platform window, waving frantically. Dave ran up the platform, arms outstretched, with the precious laptop containing...
5p to stop.
When to stop? How does it go to another anecdote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how does it continue?
No, leave one up on it.
There has to be more.
You said 50p, didn't you?
Yeah, there's about
50 to carry on.
No. The stop's having at the moment.
Oh.
That's the ultimate cliffhanger. We will never find out.
Well, we know Tim Dave survives.
It's the painful.
some more of that.
It's more to carry on.
We're carrying on.
It's interesting.
Carry on. Yeah, no, we're not with that. Keep going.
Keep going.
Dave ran up the platform, arms outstretched, with the precious laptop containing what Terry had been working on with his own hands. The end of the platform was getting closer. At the last second, Terry grabbed the laptop and ducked back in with Witches Abroad. Saved.
Extras, if anybody went and saw the Terry Pratchett exhibition up in Salisbury and saw the laptop, I've had to confirm, that was the laptop.
With the bracket.
Yeah. He didn't drop it, he dropped it later to get it, but yeah, but that is gospel.
Well, that roller raised about £5, so that's good.
Let's see if we can pick that. Jacqueline Pierce played the fearsome leader of the Evil Federation in Blake 7. It's hard to tell how much of that was down to her awesome acting ability, but she was quite terrifying in real life. When Dave picked her up from the station to bring her to the con, she was already not in a good mood. Jacqueline had wanted to get the later train, and was somewhat disappointed to find that it didn't have a first-class carriage. She got into the car.
Actually, point of order, she wasn't in a grumpy mood. That's how she was.
Edit later. Blah. She got into the car and they drove to the con, but within about 200 metres of the hotel, as the traffic lights changed to green and Dave started to pull out, 2 little old ladies shot across the T-junction in their car, missing his by inches, forcing him to do an emergency stop. Unnerved but unscathed, they managed to make it to the hotel, then Dave went to the reception desk to get the keys for Jacqueline's room. Taking her up, she was not impressed.
50p to stop.
I'm interested in where we pulled out. I want to hear more about that bit.
In front of 2 little old ladies.
we did have a continue.
There was a parent to continue.
Continue over there.
Carry on? Yeah, carry on. Right, to find out if Dave pulls out successfully.
No, she was impressed.
The room was at the top, and in all honesty, Pokey. She took one look at it and said, "Oh, darling, if I have to stay here, I couldn't possibly survive." "Okay," said Dave. "Just make yourself comfortable. I'll go down to reception and get you moved to a better room." He went back to the lift, joined by several other attendees heading that way. Pushed the button, doors opened up, and he jumped in. It went down 1.5 floors, then stopped abruptly, stuck between the floors. Jacqueline's panel was only 10 minutes away, and everybody was starting to panic. One person in the lift started to sing Brown Sugar. David was banging on the lift door, shouting, "Let us out! Let us out!" The rest of the committee was outside the lift, banging on the doors, going, "Let us in! Let us in!" Meanwhile, Jacqueline was sat in a small hotel room, wondering where everybody had got to.
Anecdote 3. Danny John Jewell was a force of nature. That was evident to anybody that saw him at the con. Sadly, he couldn't make it for the whole weekend, as he was in a play in London. But rather than cancelling on us altogether, he explained to us he would be finishing on the Saturday night at 10 o'clock and had to be back on Sunday night for his next performance. But he'd drive down through the night, arriving at the Con Hotel at 4 in the morning. Our chief steward agreed to stay up to see him arrive. She duly did. He came in, and they got him checked into his hotel room to grab a little sleep. The next morning, we knocked on the door, passed his breakfast into the room, and closed the door quietly. Bang on time for his Sunday morning panel, there he was, as bright and engaged as you could ever hope for. In fact, we'd never seen somebody so alive on a Sunday morning, certainly compared to the rest of the con, who were all looking absolutely dead on their feet. He did his panel, followed by a huge signing for which nearly the entire con queued up. He cheerfully posed for photos and chatted to the press, then he raced off, unfortunately earning a speeding ticket on his way back to London. The con committee offered to pay the fine, but Danny wouldn't hear of it. He was a pro, a true gent, and a really nice guy.
We'll be given a flavour of what is a Armadacon, but we haven't touched on most important things really. The short hand thing. Anybody here who's ever made model kits? Starships, I think. Keep hands on. Anybody that's ever done costuming? Anybody that's ever written stories? Or performed in radio plays?
Or even written them.
Is there anyone out there?
Is there anybody who's thinking, why are these people with their hands up? I'm new, this is my first time, and I haven't got a clue what stage leading on to. It's very simple. Look around you at all the people raising their hands. You are a Armadacon. You make the con what it is. You don't come to a Armadacon to be entertained. You come and you entertain each other. You are the con. Congratulate yourselves. You are fantastic.
So, well, that's a homage to 30 years of Armadacon. I hope it brought back some memories for the oldsters or some nightmare fodder for the newbies about what it's been to make the con what it is today.
We've also managed to salute the 40th, 80th and 120th anniversaries of War of the Worlds, but didn't manage to get in a gag to mark the 50th anniversary of 2001 The Space Odyssey.
I'm sorry, Dave, we can't do that, Joe.
9 o'clock yesterday morning, I've got to put that joke in!
Those of us who've been coming for 30 years are a little greyer or a little larger. A bit of both. Back at the start, we drew the posters by hand. For most people, there was only 5 television channels. The internet was only accessible through a dial-up modem. Videotapes was... you know what, I missed that. And we watched everything we could get our hands on, even the Star Wars Christmas special. Since then, Since then, the world has moved on. A lot has changed. Almost everything we've had to hunt down can be reached with a few button presses. Technology has given us a whole new way to celebrate everything we love about science fiction. And yet...
we are still watching Doctor Who on television.
Star Wars is still on at the cinema.
And once or twice a week in various homes and pubs, we are still playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Here's to the next 30 years.
Barry has done a video to also celebrate his unique view. No.
One warning, there are flashing images.
No.
Really? Yes.
You took your trousers off. It's not Gary in his boxy shorts from the railway station.